The night cracked open with a scream that never should have existed, slicing through the hum of traffic and neon lights like a wound that refused to close. On a rain-slicked road just outside the city, a woman lay broken beside her fallen motorcycle helmet, her breath shallow, her eyes wide with shock and disbelief. She was not just a random victim of street violence. She was the wife of a biker club's vice president, and the men who assaulted her had no idea that their few reckless minutes were about to awaken a storm that would change many lives forever. If you believe stories can remind us of kindness, justice, and second chances, take a moment right now to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel. Your support keeps powerful stories like this alive. She had always loved riding at night. The city felt quieter then, more honest, as if it dropped its mask after dark. Riding helped her breathe, helped her feel like herself beyond titles, beyond being known as someone's wife. That night, the rain was light, almost gentle, and the road shimmered like liquid glass. She had just left her sister's house and was less than 10 minutes from home when the headlights appeared behind her. Too close, too aggressive. She slowed, signaled, tried to let them pass, but instead the car swerved, blocking her path. What followed was chaos compressed into moments she would later replay again and again in her mind. Laughter that sounded hollow, hands that felt wrong and heavy, the sickening thud as she was pushed to the ground, the way the world seemed to tilt as her helmet rolled away. When they finally left, their tires spraying water as if washing away guilt, she was left with bruises blooming across her skin and a deeper injury forming silently inside her chest. She survived. That alone felt like a miracle, but survival came with a cost. In the hospital, machines beeped softly while she stared at the ceiling, trying to understand how a normal night had turned into something so dark. Her body ached, but it was the shame she couldn't explain that hurt most. Even though she had done nothing wrong, she felt exposed, stripped of safety, as if the world had quietly told her she was alone. News spread fast, faster than she wanted. By morning, whispers had reached the biker club. The club was not what outsiders imagined. Yes, there were leather vests, roaring engines, and a reputation that made people cross the street. But inside, it was built on loyalty, rules, and a fierce sense of family. The vice president, her husband, was a man shaped by hard roads and harder choices, but his love for her had softened him in ways few people ever saw. When he walked into the hospital room and saw her bruised face and trembling hands, something inside him shattered. Rage surged, hot and dangerous, demanding action. But beneath that anger was fear, the kind that claws at your chest when you realize how close you came to losing everything. The club reacted the only way it knew how at first, with fury. Engines revved in the parking lot like caged beasts. Men who had faced prison, violence, and loss clenched their fists, ready to unleash justice in the language they understood best. But the vice president surprised them. He didn't shout. He didn't give orders soaked in bloodlust. He asked for restraint. He knew revenge would be easy, almost expected. What was hard was doing something that would not destroy what his wife still had left inside her. Days passed. She returned home, wrapped in bandages and silence. Sleep came in fragments, haunted by memories she didn't invite. Loud sounds made her flinch. Mirrors felt like enemies. Yet slowly she noticed things that kept her anchored. The way her husband sat beside her without pushing her to talk. The meals quietly left by club members' families. The flowers with no notes, no expectations. The club, often judged as heartless, showed up not with threats, but with presence. They guarded the house in shifts, not as jailers, but as protectors. For the first time since the assault, she felt something like safety begin to return. The investigation moved slowly, painfully so. The men who attacked her were known troublemakers, local thugs who believed the night belonged to them. They had hurt others before, people without power, without a biker club watching their backs. This time, though, pressure built from all sides. The club didn't interfere with the law, but they made sure the truth couldn't be buried. Witnesses were found, security footage surfaced. The city felt different, like it was holding its breath. What truly changed everything, though, was her decision. Weeks after the assault, still bruised but standing, she asked to attend a club meeting. The room fell silent as she entered. These men were used to violence, but they weren't prepared for her quiet strength. She didn't ask for vengeance. She asked for accountability. She spoke about fear, about how violence ripples outward, poisoning more than just one life. Her voice shook, but it didn't break. In that moment, something shifted. The club realized this wasn't about proving dominance. It was about protecting what mattered and breaking a cycle that had swallowed too many already. The thugs were eventually arrested. Court dates replaced street rumors. The process was slow, and justice felt fragile, like glass that could shatter with one wrong move. During the trial, she faced them, her heart pounding so loud she thought everyone could hear it. They avoided her eyes. For the first time, she saw not monsters, but broken men who had chosen cruelty because it was easier than empathy. That realization didn't excuse what they did, but it freed her from carrying their darkness inside herself. Outside the courthouse, cameras flashed and questions flew, but she focused on the faces behind her. The club stood there, not as an army, but as a wall. Families, kids, people who had once been afraid of these bikers now saw something else entirely. They saw restraint. They saw solidarity. They saw a group of people choosing to stand for someone when it mattered most. Healing didn't arrive all at once. It came in small, stubborn moments. The first time she rode again, hands shaking as she gripped the handlebars. The first night she slept without waking in panic. The first laugh that didn't feel forced. Her husband struggled too, learning that protecting someone doesn't always mean fighting for them. Sometimes it means trusting their strength. Their relationship deepened, forged by pain but strengthened by patience. The club changed as well. They started community rides focused on safety awareness. They funded self-defense classes, counseling programs, and victim support groups. People were skeptical at first, waiting for the other shoe to drop. But it didn't. Over time, trust replaced fear. The club's reputation shifted, not erased, but transformed. They were still bikers, still rough around the edges, but now they were also guardians of a line they refused to let be crossed again. The sentencing day arrived quietly. The courtroom was tense, heavy with the weight of consequences. When the judge spoke, it felt like the room exhaled. The men who assaulted her were held accountable, not with street justice, but with the law they thought would never touch them. As they were led away, she didn't feel triumph. She felt closure, a soft, tired peace that settled into her bones. Life moved forward, as it always does. Scars faded but never vanished completely. Some nights were still hard. Some memories still stung. But she was no longer defined by what happened to her. She became an advocate, a voice for others who felt small and unseen. She reminded them that survival itself is an act of defiance. Near the end of this story, if it has touched your heart even a little, please take a second to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe to the channel. Your engagement tells us these stories matter. And before this story closes, I want to ask you something special. Please comment below with a single word that describes how this story made you feel. Your words help build a community of empathy and strength. On quiet evenings now, she sometimes stands outside, listening to engines in the distance. They no longer sound like threats. They sound like guardians passing through the night. The road that once held her fear now holds her courage. And somewhere in that hum of tires and wind is a reminder that even in the darkest moments, people can choose to rise, to protect, to change. This wasn't just a story about thugs and bikers. It was a story about what happens when rage is tempered by love, when power is guided by compassion, and when a broken night becomes the beginning of something unexpectedly beautiful.